the halachas of fruits and vegetables. So I'd like to go into what's a fruit and what's a vegetable. I'll get into that sugya. But before I do that, there's one thing which you mentioned, which I'd just like to comment on.
Is it noisy? It's noisy?
Yeah, that's fine. So we said hearts of palms. Hearts of palms is a question, what bracha do you make on hearts of palms? So we said last week that, or I think it was last week, that there's a machlokes in the Gemara. The Gemara discusses, it's called a kura. The Gemara discusses what bracha you make on it. And one mandama says you make a shahakol, because you don't plant a tree for that, to eat that. You plant a tree to eat the dates possibly, or for other reasons, but you don't plant the tree to eat that. And the other mandama says it's a boy piyadama. It's machlokes. Lamaisa, today they do plant trees to eat the hearts of palms. It's a whole business, and they could buy in cans. And so maybe kulyam you should make a boy piyadama. The only thing is, the question, maybe you should possibly even make a bar priya 8. In other words, the only reason why the Madam in the Gemara said you make hadama is because that's not the main fruit of the tree. In other words, you only make ha'etz on the main fruit of the tree, but this is not a main fruit. This is, a side product. So maybe you don't make hadama, but today that you plant it for the main...
The side one comes out of the ground?
The question is what it is exactly, the hearts of palms, but it's the Gemara, they used to cut off the top of the tree, and the tip they used to take out the inside. Today they take it from...
So why would you say, what will that mean that it's a secondary fruit? Should be
any fruit, yes. Even something that grows on a tree. And even something that grows on the tree, a boy priya is only the pre-ha'etz. It's only the main fruit of the tree. But if, let's say, the Gemara says slaf, which has the main fruit and some side parts that you eat, so only the main one you make ha'etz, the side ones you make a hadama on. So something which is planted for that. So today you plant it to get the hearts of palms. I think the small ones, I don't know exactly how they make it. They take the small trees and they cut it and they take the hearts of palms out. So that possibly should be ha'etz. But we still make a hadama on it for a reason which we'll see, is because it's not really the fruit of the tree, it's actually the tree itself. The fruit of the tree is something that grows on a tree. But if I eat the tree, it could be there's no reason to you don't make a ha'etz on that, you make a hadama on that. So therefore, the place can say on the hearts of palm, even though it's a tree you're eating, you can make a boy pri hadama today.
Because it's a tree.
Because it's a tree, and we plant it. If we wouldn't normally plant it, that's the machlokes of the Gemara. You make a hadama or a shahakal. But today, they plant it specifically for that. So you make a hadama on the hearts of palms. Now, I'd like to go into the different fruits, berries, nuts. What's the criteria to what bracha you make, if it's a hadama or if it's a ha'etz? So what classifies a tree today? So it's actually machlokes Rashi and Tosfos, how you learn in the Gemara. We hold that what's considered a tree is something which the root, the shorish, the ikar is there, stays all year, and it grows different branches. And in other words, if you have a tree, the fruits grow and come on and off, and the tree remains. Orange tree, apple tree. The tree remains there all year, and the fruits grow from year to year. So that's definitely called a tree. A vegetable is something which grows from the ground, and when you cut it down, there's nothing left. You pick the cucumber, it's finished until next year. So a vegetable is something which the ikar does not remain from year to year. Something which the ikar remains from year to year, that's considered a tree. Now, there's machlokes Rashi Tosfos. That's what we paskin. There's machlokes Rashi Tosfos. That ikar has to be above ground or below ground.
Don't you pick it off? What do you mean year to year? Don't you pick it?
Pick what? You pick the apple, but the tree's still standing.
Yeah, okay.
So then that's considered a tree. But if you pick the whole tree...
The cucumber is attached to something.
Yeah, but it dies out. It dies. It dies. It doesn't survive. You come in the summer, in the winter, you'll see it's empty field.
It's planted every year.
Yeah. So Tosfos says if it has ikr underground, that's enough to be considered a tree. Rashi and all the poskim go that no, it has to be above ground. You have to have something above ground that remains from year to year to be considered a tree, and that's what we paskin halacha l'maisa. So, for example, a strawberry, where you have the underground that remains, the roots remain, but the tree doesn't stay above the ground, it doesn't remain. So we make a boy pri hadama on it, even though the roots remain, because there's no shayrish, there's no trunk, we'll call it. There's no something that remains above ground that we could consider a tree from year to year. That seems to be the consensus lahalacha. The Torah brings down a machlekes, but in the Machaber he just brings down this one shita, and that's how we paskin.
Is that the same as the blueberry?
Oh, we're going to get to blueberries.
What if it's underground?
There's a bush, isn't it, I think?
What if it's underground year to year?
No, that's adama. Like the horseradish, there's a radish, a beach, yeah, that's adama. Potatoes.
And if it's a tree above ground year to year, is there 8?
Yeah, above ground is 8. Now, let's understand this. So we have machlokes, but we paskin that if it's above ground, then you make 8. If it's below ground, hadama. But there's one little thing. Let's say someone picks up a strawberry and he makes a bar priya 8. So he made the wrong bracha, right? But since there's one, what should he do? So if there's really a machlokes, we say sofet bracha saharkel. But here, so you yoyta. But here we really paskin that it has to be above ground. So Mishnah says what he should do is, since he made a bracha, he should take a little bite, small bite from it. So at least according to one shita, he had made a bracha and it was not a bracha of atol, he made a bite. Then he should go ahead and make a bari pri adama and eat the rest. That's how we come out.
Is there any other situation where you make 2 brachas on the same food?
No, only if it's a real mistake like this, yeah.
But if it's a real mistake,
I think if it's a machlokes about being a
if it's a real machlokes, so we paskin like that, then you be yotch. Oh, no, we make hadama anyways, yeah. But you would be yotch if you made the other ones.
But if it's like a real machlokes of hoitz, you do a shofar.
What if there's another way? There's the whole mixed thing. Can you take an apple, eat it for the first?
Yeah. So let's say you have, Let's say you have, let's see who's asking over here. It brings down a shiloh. It brings down a shiloh over here. Let's say you have an apple and a strawberry, okay? So normally we always say, which brachas do you make first? You make the 8 first, and then you make the hadama afterwards, because hadama could be yotze the 8. So you make the very 8. So that's more. Anyways, that's the more miyuchad. It has more chashiva, something which is more. It's more
Important. Specific.
Yeah, more specific. Yeah, it's more specifics because it's important because it's specific. It has that importance that it's more 8. Hadam includes everything. 8 is a little more specific. So you make that bracha first. But here you'll have a shiloh, because if according to Tosfos, if you make a 8, you could be yotze on your strawberry, okay, or a banana. We'll see in a minute, same thing. So you make her 8, you could be yotze. So, right, if you have, let's say you have apples and an orange, so you don't make 2 separate 8s, one on the apple, one on the orange. You make one 8, and you eat the whole thing. But if you have
Here you had the wrong.
what?
Here you have the wrong.
Hold on. You have 2 8s. So you make what? You don't make 2 8s. It's a bracha sheina tzricha. You make one 8s, and you get both of them. Okay. Let's say you have 8s and a hadama, and you made a hadama first. So we say the general rule is like this: if you didn't specifically have in mind to be yotze with your hadama, the other fruit, or 8th fruit, if you pick up an apple and you make a boy pri hadama, so you had in mind to make a boy pri hadama on the apple, but the ever yotze, you don't make another bracha. But if you pick up a cucumber and make a boy pri hadama, and you have an apple sitting next to you, we say normally the apple is not included in the bracha of the cucumber because it's not the right bracha. Right? Unless you specifically have in mind, I want to be yotzei to be moitzi by apple. But if you don't, if it's a separate bracha, so if I make a bracha on the cucumber, even though it's a bar piyadam and it could technically work on the apple, but if I didn't specifically make it on the apple, I'm not yotzei on that, right? That's the halacha. But if I have two fruits, even if I'm not thinking, we automatically assume that you make a bar piyah it's going on all the fruits in front of you, and therefore it's automatically yotzei. So here I have eitz and hadama. I have a strawberry. I have an apple. So according to Tosfos, that the right bracha to make on the strawberry is ha'etz. So when I made my ha'etz on the apple, I was automatically moitzing my strawberry. Automatically, it's according to Tosfos also fruit. Now when I'm going to make a hadama, according to Tosfos, I shouldn't make a hadama on my strawberry. So some places can say it's better, even though normally you make the ha'etz first. Here it might be better to make the hadama on the strawberry first, and then we might see the. I don't see much people doing that.
Why?
Probably because we
Because
pass them like Rashi and finish. We forget about the shittas
why?
and
Because of what? Why right away?
Baruch Hashem Tzvich, I was very yotzei. According to Tosfos, I
Why
was
right
already.
away? Some say make the apple eight because of the hefsek. You made a bracha on the eights on the red strawberry, right?
No. I'm making on the apple. Making eights on the apple. But the question is, it's automatically moitzing my strawberry according to Tosfos. I made on the apple and ate the apple. Now do I have to make another bracha on the strawberry?
It's another eight.
According to Tosfos, it's eight the strawberry. According to Rashi, it's a hadama. So I made eights on the apple.
We call eight mostly.
No, on the strawberries we make hadama. We all like Rashi.
We don't like Tosfos.
Like Rashi. Make a
Rashi says.
hadama.
For strawberries.
Okay, so that's yeah. So might say you're not yotzei, but someone wants to have in mind specifically when he makes the eights, not to be moitzi the strawberry or the banana. There's a reason to do it because just specifically have in mind I'm not being moitzi the other fruit. Now there is a shiloh, for example, if I have an apple and an orange. There's a shiloh. Let's say a guy wants to have 100 brachas. There's a place can be down the shiloh. You want to have 100 brachas on Shabbos. And you're short, you're short a few brachas. So I have an apple, or orange, a nectarine. I have all these fruits in front of me. So I'll make a separate boipri on each fruit. I'll have in mind not to be yotzei. I eat the apple, I have in mind not to be yotzei orange. It's a machlokes in the poskim whether you're allowed to do that. Whether I'm allowed to have in mind not to be yotzei. But over here, for sure, you could do that. Over there, it's a machlokes, so one shouldn't. For Meir brachas, one bracha eights for everything. You don't make a separate bracha.
Would it be a bracha or would it be a bracha
That's a good try. It works automatically, maybe. Yeah.
How much time between the apple and the orange would expire before it would be appropriate to make a second?
If it's not on the table when you made the bracha,
okay.
you didn't have a mind to eat it. But if it's there, it's automatically included in your bracha.
So if each one comes out from the kitchen one at a time, say 10 minutes apart,
and you didn't have in mind, you didn't know it was coming.
You didn't know it was
coming. Yeah.
What about pineapple? Pineapple would be each or
How does a pineapple grow? It's adama, no? It's adama. It grows on the ground.
but it comes from the tree.
Pineapple?
Yeah.
I never saw a pineapple. What?
Which comes from the ground? Comes from the ground?
How does it grow?
Very low to the ground.
And the stem stays or doesn't stay?
I think the same as banana and strawberry.
Same as banana strawberry.
Does it grow in a bush or is it
So it's on the ground then?
It just hangs down low. It's very heavy.
See what he brings out of pineapple. I'm not sure how pineapple grows. You have to check it out. They make adab on it, but the question is how it actually grows.
The one that like that is a papaya.
Is it like in the
We'll get to papaya. We'll get to that.
We've got the green,
No, well,
and the rest of it is largely yogurt.
Oh,
Okay, so let's move on. So that's a strawberry, okay, and a banana. Banana is the same halacha ground. A banana, it says here in Shulchan Aruch, is called a muzish. Muzish, but it's bananas. Boi pri adama. It's in Rosh halacha. And the same reason, because bananas, the tree sort of replenishes itself. It grows a stalk out, and that dies, and then a new stalk comes out, and from that grows the next bananas next year. The tree actually gets higher as these stalks come out, but it's a separate, the shirish, the stalk that the banana grows on actually dies the next year, and another one comes out. So you're always getting a new one coming out. So a banana has a din, even though it's called a banana tree, but it has a halacha of a adama. It's not considered a tree itself. It's a very pre adama. It's totally the same machlokes Rashi Tosfos, but we make a adama on a banana. It's not because it's facing down. As I always say, bananas are facing down. It's because it doesn't replenish itself. Now, blueberries. There's a whole shiloh here, and the truth is the blueberry bush, also the bush remains from year to year. It doesn't go away. So technically, it's considered a tree, and you should make a boy priya eitz. L'maisa, that's how we paskin. The blueberry bushes make a boy priya eitz, but there's certain
between wild and
so there are wild blueberries, which the oila makes a boy priya dama on. Because the minig is anything which is lower than 3 tvachim, doesn't grow 3 tvachim off the ground, we make a boy pri adama on. So, for example, raspberries. Raspberries, the whole shaila in the poskim here, what bracha you make. Raspberries, Mishabur says you make her eitz, the Shulchan Aruch says you make her eitz. But Lamaisa, the minig, the olam is to make her adama on it because it doesn't grow higher than 3 tvachim off the ground. It does?
9 inches.
9 inches. If it does, then you make an eight.
Really? And blueberries are colored?
Every go picky.
I'm a city boy.
Some of them are a little, some of them are bushes.
Some are.
It depends. Yeah, if it grows higher.
Have 2 baskets.
Yeah, let's take a look what he brings here.
Raspberries.
I think core solves the problem on all these berries.
Who?
Core.
Too many.
They say don't make a dama, they say don't make eights, don't eat them.
Don't eat them. So it has raspberry hadama.
This week.
Here.
What? They came out and said don't eat blueberries?
Now there's another svara for raspberries. Okay, one of them is but there's another svara from raspberries. Even if they go higher, there's another svara. Now you have to know this is true also. There's different kinds of raspberry bushes, it seems. But the Paiskim, the Marsham brings a svara that it grows. The raspberries grow on the main stalk of the bush itself, rather than you have a tree. You normally have a trunk, and then you have a branch come out, and on the branch grows the fruit. But let's say you have fruits growing on the trunk itself. So if the bush itself, it grows on the trunk itself. The berries grow on that trunk. So that's a svara that's not called a pri. That has a halacha of a hadama. That's another svara he brings down. But again, it seems that it's questionable how,
Like that papaya.
what kind of raspberry bushes there are, different kinds around, and they grow differently. So that's also a svara which is not so clear. That's another svara.
Strawberries, based on what you just said,
here.
would have to be adama.
Right?
Strawberries don't grow above, 3 to 5 inches. Right?
Strawberries is for sure, as anyways, adama.
Adama because of this rule.
Yeah. But the main rule is because it's under the ground. It's not a tree at all. A raspberry could be a tree, but there's a shiloh, a bracha you make because of.
So there's no machlokes on raspberries.
There is a machlokes. There's a machlokes about it. There's a machlokes about it in the Mishabur, and the Paiskim have a machlokes on raspberries. What you make here. The Chai Yodam says you make a by priya eitz. The Mishabur, but the Taz and the Shulchan Aruch says you make on raspberries a by priya adama because it grows on the tree. It's also the Geya.
I know. I like it.
There's another svara they bring down. Again, I don't know how raspberries grow. There's another svara they bring down, a raspberry bush, that keeps on getting new branches.
Yeah.
So one branch will stay for 2 years. On the second year, it'll grow the fruit, and on the third year, it'll die, and then the next branch comes out. And then it'll stay for a year. On the second year, the fruit will grow, and then it'll die. So it's also similar to the bananas and the other things where that branch where it grows on dies.
Because banana dies the same year you pick the fruit.
Yeah, so this is the next year. That's the shadow, but that's the svara brought down. So there's 3 different svaras which you have to know applies to different raspberry bushes. But so that's why the oil makes adama.
On tomatoes that grow on the ground, they're using a different bracha, and then tomatoes that on like a tree that they put a stick in and they hold the
Yeah, but it's just a vine. It dies also. It's just a vine.
Or is it, are they different?
No, they're all both adama.
It's all
adama because it's a vine. It's really on the ground. You're just holding it up in the air. You
So how
know.
come grapes are bioprioates?
There you go.
Grapes are bioprioates. Yeah.
Why? They grow on vines.
They grow on vines. Yeah. Stays for me. They don't die.
But so what? They grow low to the ground.
Grow low to the
John
ground.
Monticello says
Yeah,
they
yeah,
grow
yeah.
low to the
Why
ground.
doesn't that minig apply to grapes? Maybe because of the chashivas of it. That was a good question.
Oh.
Now, okay, so that's the shadow with the raspberries. I just want to point out. I just want to point out that this shiloh is not just a shiloh b'negeya, what bracha you make. It's also a shiloh. It's also negeya if there's a chi of oil on it.
Right.
On anything that's considered a tree, you can't eat the fruits for the first 3 years. And anything that's considered not a tree, a vegetable, you can eat it. So all these things which are questionable, if it's eitz or it's adama, has the same question if there's a chi of oil. So I remember when Rav Simcha Cook was here, I asked him if they're makbid on oil on raspberries. He seemed to say they're not. I see from Shlomo Zalman says that in Eretz Yisrael you have to be machmer, and in Chutz La'aretz we're not machmer because oil is drabanan. In Chutz La'aretz, in Eretz Yisrael it could be deraisa. I don't remember what I asked him for. Maybe I asked him for blueberries. I can't remember if I asked him for raspberry blueberries. But because of the same suffix, it's a shiloh if you have a problem of arla. So it's the same need. And so raspberries, which is a suffix, we're going to make our adaba, misafik maybe, but you'll have to take off arla, misafik. You'll have to won't eat it for the first 2 years. So in Chutz La'aretz, Mazal brings down oil is Chutz La'aretz, a suffix is mutter anyways. It's only Eretz Yisrael where suffix is asr and arla. So then you have much more of a chumrah.
So if you plant a blueberry in Detroit,
Right.
the novo in your garden, you have to wait 3 years to use it?
You have to wait 3 years because a blueberry is a tree and has a din oil on it.
I think when it first starts with very low trees, because
Till they go. Yeah.
it takes quite a while.
Yeah.
Grapevines, you always have oil.
Where's they coming up? Yeah. Oh. Okay, so that's the blueberries and the so the blueberries, so the wild blueberries grow low to the ground, so the oil makes a dam on it. But Moshe says if you have a suffix, if you don't know if it's high or low, you can just make an eitz, because really it is a tree. Really it's a tree. Just the oil noig, if it's low to the ground, you'll make a adaba. But if you're not sure where it came from, or you're not sure if it's within 3 tefachim, those whole child, how big is a tefach? So let's say it's between 9 and 12 inches. If the suffix of is 3 tefachim or higher, so you can make a one basket for adama. Yeah, different amounts. Okay, so that's the blueberries. Okay, these are not including the bugs. The bugs is a different shiloh. The bugs you have to check. I think the wild blueberries have a bigger problem with bugs than the other ones. I don't know. You have to check it out.
This thing
You have
came
to
out
look
last
at.
week about blueberries.
Oh yeah, you have to keep on checking. It changes. Yeah.
Are there different halachas
This gets worse if you-
determining the characteristic that in the ground or near the ground and then above the ground? There must be different truths about that.
Well, we're saying if it's under the ground, it's for sure adama. If it's above the ground, and if
No, I'm
the
asking
trunk.
about the Torah truths from the Old Testament. There must be different halachas
Right.
discriminating whether it's in the ground or near the ground and then above the ground. I'm wondering what's the scriptural basis for it.
So where do we know this from? I have to know where it comes from. How do we describe an eighth? The question is, how do we say? It's all the Rabbanim, first of all. The bracha Rishon is not the rice, it's the Rabbanim. The bracha Rishon is midrabanan, but it has for oil it has a difference. It says eight. So the question is, what's the description of eight? So this is based on Torah Shabbal Peh. What's the description? Like anything, it says tefillin. What's the description of tefillin? It's Torah Shabbal Peh that we know what the description is. So eitz is the same thing. What's called a tree and what's not called a tree? That's basically the question. Now we have a papaya tree. Yeah. What bracha do you make on papaya? Anyone know? Adama. Why Adama?
So it doesn't grow from branches, it grows directly from the
Because it
trunk.
grows every year.
It's like bananas.
Because it grows every year.
So first of all, a date, for example, a date. I always point this out. Even though we say something that grows from the trunk might be Adama, that's only by the low bushes. But by, let's say, a date tree, a palm tree. So the dates grow from the tree itself, more or less. And it has a din of H, because since it's a tree, days you walk outside, you see a huge tree, so then it doesn't matter, even if it's growing from the tree itself, we make a H. So this halacha that it's growing from the stem has a din of a Hadama, is only because it's a low bush, so it doesn't become a tree. It doesn't become a tree if the berries are growing from the.
But nowadays the date trees are very short. Yeah,
They could be. You could have short ones, but they're not short. I mean,
they develop new ones that are like the height of a person.
They keep on growing. They keep on growing. A papaya tree grows how much? 3-4 meters, they say. How big is that?
But the stem is hollow though.
So there's a few svaras.
According to this coconut,
Coconut is an eighth. The coconut itself, the juice we spoke last week. Yeah. Now the so the papaya, there's a few svaras given. Why we make a hadaba on it. One of them is what he's saying, it's hollow. It's a hollow tree, so it's something missing. It's not a tree. It's hollow, so therefore you'll make a. Also, it's softer. I think the tree is softer. It's softer. It's not such a strong tree, so they make a. These things are right up at the end here. What?
He's actually the impression in the surface. Yeah.
So it grows out from the trunk also, and it's a soft tree. If there's something missing in the tree...
You have a papaya now?
Papaya, yeah. So that's why we make Adama on a papaya. There's a shaila, if you have a tree that only, the fruit only grow, or the whole tree lasts 3-4 years. So the question is, the Torah says every tree you have to take off early. You can't eat the first 3 years. The 4th year is kara. So it can't be called a tree. It can't be called a tree. I can't use the fruits. It doesn't make sense. Right. So there's a shaila in the poskim if that's considered. If you have a tree that's going to
Can you have
not
hanoah
survive.
from the smell of the fruit?
What?
Can you have hanoah from the smell of the fruit?
Yeah. That's, you don't
just,
make a bracha.
You're just not eating it.
You don't make a bracha. If the ikar hanoah is eating, you don't make a bracha on the smell. It's only if the ikar hanoah is the smell.
I'm saying if it's before the 3rd year, you can smell it.
Oh, it's oily.
It's
asaba hanoah. It's asaba hanoah. You can't smell it.
You cannot.
Yeah.
Right. That's what it is.
So that's one svara. So it grows from the ikar of the tree, like he's saying. It grows from the ikar of the tree, even though that's not a svara by itself because it's a tall tree, but it's hollow, the tree. And also, I don't know how long it lasts. How long do papaya trees last?
I don't know.
There's another svara. So, and it's a soft tree also. So that's also a svara to say that you make a hadama on the papayas. So that's basically the any other fruits we missed over here?
Are there any trees that don't last more than 2
I'm not sure. They're big down. I don't know which ones are relevant to. What? Oh, cranberries. Cranberries also grow very low, right?
Yeah,
Cranberries, I think, grow very low. So the minig is to make a hadama on that. Yeah, let's see if it brings down cranberry. Hadama. Yeah. It's a vine. It's a vine. So even though it's a tree, but it grows very low, so we make, again, it's the same halacha under 3. This is one thing for sure, that something under 3 tfachim, that you made ha'etz, you yotza. So if you make ha'etz on cranberries, you make ha'etz on, that's the difference. If it's a strawberry, since the root is underground and it doesn't survive above, so that we say you have to make ha'adam on it. You make ha'etz, you take a little bite and you make ha'adam. But a cranberry or the raspberries maybe, or the wild blueberries, these things, if you're going to make ha'etz on it, you're yotza, but you have it, you're yotza. There's no question. So here you have a bigger shiloh. Let's say I have an apple. Let's say I have an apple and a cranberry. Okay? And I make ha'etz on the apple, now I have a real shiloh. I can't make another bracha on the cranberry. It could be I was yotza my thing. So here for sure, I should make a bracha on the cranberry first or adama, and then make a bracha on the apple. Because if I make my eitz first, I'm not able to make a bracha on the cranberry. Or raspberry, same thing, a raspberry. I wouldn't be able to make a bracha on the raspberry. It could be it's a eitz. It's not so simple. It could be it's a eitz, and I made a eitz on the apple. And if you have in mind, I'm eating the apple not to be eitz to the raspberries. It's not so simple. You could do that for like an apple and an orange. We said it's a machlokes, but I could have in mind not to be eitz the other fruit. It's not so simple. I could do that if they're both considered a eitz. So the best thing is if you're eating both together. Bring this down from Rabbi Yashiv. If you're eating both together, so again, anything which is a vade bracha eitz and something which is a suffika eitz or adama, you should better make the adama for next thing you have a chassan. You want to, they say give him a fruit bowl to see what bracha he makes first. So here's a good one. Put an apple and a cranberry or a thing there and see what bracha he makes first. You might get him.
If you have a vine growing of cranberries.
Huh?
If you have a vine growing on the wall of cranberries, you pick them. They're all above.
Yes, that's what I was saying. The vines could be above if you hold it up.
Above 5 feet.
Yeah. But technically it grows low. You're just picking it up. You're holding it up.
So cranberry does grow on a vine?
It grows on a vine. It grows below.
Why would we even think of it
now? No, the tree stays around from year to year. So anything which
so it's like a strawberry.
It's below 9 inches now.
It's below 9 inches. So the minig is to make adama, but really it's a tree because it stays around. It stays around from year to year. So it has the criteria of a tree, right? So
maybe that's why with a grapevine also.
A grapevine is also, even though there we don't have a minig to make a adama on it. Maybe there you really hold it up. I don't know why.
Wild blueberries have the same issue then, right?
Blueberries the wild blueberries, same issue. The wild blueberries, all these things.
You don't plant them, and they're like a tree that grew up.
What about natural? What about natural? Would you make a eitz on that?
Really?
What?
Natural.
Esrog is a real eitz. It's a real, it's a real fruit. It's a citrus fruit.
You could grow it at home.
You do?
Now, I just want to point out one last thing, or we'll stop there. Point out I think that basically covered all of the fruits and vegetables. If you have another one that we didn't think of over here. But,
Coming in, fruit we didn't know about. One question. Guava.
there's a question of, okay, I don't know, I'm looking if there's any other fruits and vegetables on this. But you have the question of the bracha achroina. Right? A bracha achroina, anything which is not from the Shivas Haminim, so we make a bar nefashos on the bracha achroina from these, right? It's a Shivas Haminim, so you have a hala eitz, if it's an eitz. And then we mentioned last time that there's a shita sataisvis that you make a haladama or priyadama. We don't hold like that, but there is such a shita. But l'maisa we make a bar nefashos on all. You eat an apple, you make a bar nefashos at the end. But there is a shaila. The berries are whole. In other words, there's a din barrier that if it's a whole thing, there's a big shaila. Let's say you eat one grape, for example. You eat one grape, which is less than a kazayas. So if you eat the whole thing with the seeds and everything, so do I make ala gefet on it because it's whole? It has a chashivas because it's whole, or do I have to eat a share of a kazayis? I have to eat a share. So ala eitz val priyates. Let's say by ala eitz val priyates. So let's say I eat a grape, right? So person would say take a bite, eat a half a grape, and then eat it. You break the grape in half, you eat the whole grape. So you should eat a share to make to be yotze all the shitas. But there's the same shiloh. Interesting, it's not the same, but there is a shiloh. But even on the bar nefashos, if I eat normally for bar nefashos, I have to have a share. I have to eat a share because I use a vias on a drink. I have to have a share in order to make a bracha achroina. But let's say I eat one berry. One berry, it's less than a share, but I ate the whole berry. So does that require a bracha achroina? And that's a big question. If it requires a bracha achroina, so even though we're knowing not to make a bracha achroina unless I eat a kazayas, but some that would say don't eat less than a share. If you're going to have berries, which each one is a berry, you make sure to eat a share that you can make a bracha achroina on it, because you get into the shiloh. If you didn't need a shear, you can't make a bracha achroina, savik brachas lahakal. You can't make a bracha, so you don't make a bracha nefashos. But should make sure either to eat halves of it, or to make sure to eat a shear of these, because you could always get into a question. I have a suffix if I make a bracha achroina.
What's the approximate number of grapes on which you'd have to make
a kazayis?
What's the are we talking about 1 or 2 grapes or 1,000 grapes? What's the approximate?
We said last time that a kazayis would be if you have an ounce, you're okay, or a little more than an ounce. It's not so many. Grapes are a little larger. It's not so many grapes. A few grapes, you already have enough. 3, 4 for sure you got.
3 or 4.
Yeah. You already have enough. But the berries could be smaller. The berries are small. Sure. Yeah.
What the bracha on mushrooms?
Mushrooms shahakol. It doesn't grow from the ground. It doesn't have roots. It's a shahakol.
And with nuts? Generally with
so nuts also, you have to know what kind of nuts you have. Some nuts are eights based on this question.
Yeah.
Some nuts are eights and some nuts are adama.
Like a walnut.
A lot of walnuts are adama. Walnuts are adama.
Yeah.
But the almonds are eights. Peanuts are adama. Let's check walnuts. Walnuts are
cashews.
I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Walnuts is eights.
Oh, yeah.
All of them are
except peanuts.
Walnuts is adama. Walnuts is eights. Peanuts is adama. Anything that's eights, another point. Anything that's eights, so you have a bracha achroina on it. But if, let's say, you eat grapes, for example, you have a bunch of grapes and you also have some nuts, which are, you have walnuts, so it's eights. Okay, let's say you have grapes and you also have some walnuts. So now I don't have to make a bird of fashas on the walnuts because I make a hollow eights. It works for the walnuts. If I have adama, it doesn't work for that. Adama, you have to make a bird of fashas. But if I have eights, anything which is considered eights, so I guess you have the same shiloh on the raspberries. If you have grapes and raspberries, you can't make a bird of fashas because you have a suffix. Maybe it's eights. Anything which is a suffix, if it's eights or adama, so eights, you're going to be yoitze b'diavad. If you make a halal eights on it, right? If you make a halal eights on it.
Which type of food?
And like if you don't know.
So all these suffer cases, so we have to be careful what bracha rishon you make if you're eating with another fruit. Make the adama first, and when you're making a bracha achroina, you're not going to be able to make a burn of fashas. Take a drink, and then you can maybe make a burn of fashas. Take a drink, shahako, you take a drink, you can make a burn of fashas anyways.
And if you have an apple and 1 grape?
1 grape, you have a big suffix now. It's a suffix if it's a berry if you make. Okay, that's for the fruits and vegetables. We'll start something else the next thing.
What about raisins?
What?
Raisins are like grapes, right?
Raisins are grapes.
What about cherries?
Do cashews grow around?
If you have some of these dried fruits which you can't eat, like boxers, I don't know what bracha, if you make a bracha achroina, it's not edible almost. But if it's edible, then it has the same bracha as, it's still recognizable that it's the fruit.
Just wondering about cashews. Do they grow on the ground or on a tree?
No, they grow on a tree.
They're on the tree.
It's a big tree. It's a big fruit and the
Yes, the guy knows.
What about coffee beans?
I spell that with a K.
C-A-B-S-H.
It's bullshit.
So people eat coffee beans.
Yeah.
Coffee is a big shiloh. If you
Coffee
make eights,
beans.
we spoke about it last time. Coffee beans itself is for sure eights. But the question
for
is,
eight.
yeah, the question is when it gets when it turns into chocolate or
Right.
coffee, what
Right.
bracha you make on it?
Right.
We make a shahako because it changed, but that's also one of the sugar. We didn't mention sugar. Sugar we make a shahako on, right? It's a whole shiloh of place. What bracha you make on sugar?
It comes from
Especially
cane.
you have those. Yeah, because
Cane.
sugar cane itself, yeah, is a question because it calls it atzei a yar. The Gemara calls it a forest. So maybe you make a eights on it, even though maybe it should be adama. So no shiloh what you make on sugar.
What about sense?
Well, mostly we make a shahakal because we get the sugar. It's already not the same
It depends on
form.
what kind of sugar.
It's not the same form as the
The beet sugar would be a donut.
Beet sugar is also a shakal, because when we get the sugar, it's not the same form as, you can't tell it's the fruit itself. That's the minute to make a shakal on.
What about cinnamon sticks?
Also, how do you eat it? You either bite it, you don't eat it.
Well, you
Suck
get
it.
the roll and then you
Suck it.
You make it
might
tea.
you actually you extract it.
So liquid.
Yeah. So it's a shayla. Again, if you make an eitz on it, it could be, you wouldn't want yaitz with the end.
It's the tree itself you're eating.
Yeah.
The cinnamon.
Yeah. It's the tree itself.
But
It's a sugar, but it's called it's called a tree. The Gemara calls it I'd say a yam. Sugar is a whole big shayla. Sugar is a big sugya. It's a sugya by itself. But the mice, the oil makes a shahakal on the
But if you're eating
extract.
chocolate coffee beans.